So, projects versus products. What's the difference? Why is one better than the other? Or is one better than the other? If you've been to any kind of training around Agile or Scrum or Kanban, we tend to always bring that up. And you might get the idea that products are better than projects. They're really just different. But you need what we call a product perspective or a product mindset you might hear about when you're doing work with an Agile way of working. In general, I think businesses should switch to a product mindedness, even if you are doing projects. Now, projects are usually time-boxed activities. You might be brought on to deliver a project which is asking for a certain outcome to happen within this time box. We usually call it deadline, right? By this deadline, we want you to deliver all of this scope, all of this stuff. You've got this much money to do it. And you need to get it done by that deadline. And if you do those things, you will succeed. The problem with that thinking is that, one, almost no one I've ever met, almost no project managers have ever delivered a project on time, within budget, with all the scope. The few that have, and I am one of the lucky few that have noticed that even if you do that, your customers and stakeholders tend to not be happy anyway. They're not satisfied. You may have not actually delivered the value we expected to deliver. And that's the downfall of that project thinking, of thinking that if you deliver all these things by this time within this money, you'll be good. A product mindset, a product focus is looking at kind of the life cycle of something, where the project is time boxed. This is the time you have. At the end of that time, you're done. With a product, you're thinking, we need to make this thing, we need to maintain it, and eventually we might need to get rid of it. Right? Some products need to have an end of life sequence as well. And when you have that product mindset, it's not about just delivering the thing and then saying we're done. It's about thinking, how are we making sure this is valuable? How are we making sure people want this thing? How are we making sure that people want to continue using it? And building it in a way where you're not just getting it out of your hands, you're getting something that people want, something you can maintain easily, so it doesn't cost you more than you made from it, and that's something that you eventually might even be able to get rid of should you need to from the marketplace. And this is a very different approach to how you work. And measuring success in that is very different. And it also means you're more likely to have happy customers, happy stakeholders, because you're focusing on that value. Why would someone want this product? With a project, you're just told, do this by then, and if you do that, that's the project done. With a product, you need to think about who's going to want this? Why would they want this? How am I going to make that happen for the smallest cost possible and as soon as possible? And how I'm going to continue keeping that interest alive for the life cycle of the product. The question then is, why is the focus so heavy on projects in many organizations? A lot of that can actually come down to budgeting. A lot of budgeting in organizations is cyclical, either annual or quarterly or some variation between. It's easier to cut out a budget and say, you have this amount of money, you have 1 year to deliver this product, you have X amount of years to deliver this product or this project. And if you do it this way, you should get money back, and that's all good. And that seems like reasonable thinking. Cut out this money, make someone deliver the thing, and get money back. The problem with that thinking is it's still focused on that predictable mindset. We can find the link between cause and effect, so as long as we do this thing for this amount of money, we will get success. The reality is, product development just simply isn't that. It's complex. You don't know exactly what your customers want and what's going to make them happy, and you also don't know exactly how you're going to get there, or some variation in between. And then you have to deal with people. People are inherently unpredictable as well. The people doing the work and the people who you're hoping are going to get value from the work as well. Which means you need a slightly different approach. You need different measures, different focuses on where the value is and how to approach it. And what you want to do is you want to move from that solution focus to a risk management focus. The idea is in projects, if you do this on time, on budget, with all the scope, you will have a solution that's going to solve the problem. You need to move from that and think, how much money are we going to invest to try and validate that this is something someone wants? How much risk will we take on to try and reduce the risk of this potential product existing on the market? Let us pay for, if you're using Scrum, 3 sprints. That might be 100,000. And then we're going to try and validate more than 100,000 worth of risk by getting something done, get it out the door, make sure people actually want this thing. And if we're finding that, okay, maybe we didn't get 100,000 back, but we like the trend we're seeing, let's pay for some more. Great. If we don't like what we're seeing and we're realizing that, this was not the right bet, we can cut our losses there and we can pivot. We can invest it somewhere else. We can take the product somewhere else or do a completely different product, because we didn't focus on do all the stuff within this time for this money and that will be a solution. Instead, we said, how much risk do we want to take on before we reconsider and make a decision on go, no go, or pivot? And if you move to that mindset, you'll have much better success in business, you'll have much less headaches, and you'll be dealing with risk the way you should be, empirically and one step at a time. All right, thank you very much for watching. And if you like what you saw and you want to hear more about what I've got to say in the future on similar questions, or if you have a question yourself, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. You can also email me at oscar.stife@pragmaticshift.com. Please do like the video, share it with others if you think they might benefit from it, or follow my profile to see stuff as they come out as well. And I would love to be your Scrum trainer. So please find my content on pragmaticshift.com. You can find the courses I've scheduled for the year, or on scrum.org.com as well. Look forward to seeing you in my classroom soon.